I'll start with a poem by Benjamin Zephaniah, who was my friend and hero. It's called Royalty. I went to Buckingham Palace today to see where the Queen and her family stay. I went to Buckingham Palace today to see the Queen's horses and men. The Queen had gone shopping. Her friend let us in, a very big chap with a very big grin. He put all the money I had in a tin. Security checked me, and then he showed me a picture 300 years old, kept in a frame made of valuable gold. I told him I had one just like it indoors, and that I may sell it to help a good cause. A chandelier hastened price was nice. I said my one was better and had a price. I went in a big room and saw a big throne, just like the one my mum has at home. I saw carpets on walls that were not for sale. I met the man who sorts out royal mail. I went to the room where the Queen has her balls, and in there I saw some carpets on the walls. On high polished floors I had a good slide. I got a good telling off. Well, did you know this week's big news? Queen Camilla, as if she didn't have enough, has been made by her husband, Grand Master and First or Principal Dame, Grand Cross of the Most Excellent Order of the British Empire. Don't ask me, I don't understand it, but that's what she got this week. And William, at the same time, was made Grand Master of the Order of the Bath. Did you know such a thing existed? This is what the Queen used to do as well. Every time she was in a good mood with Andrew, she slapped honours and medals on him. It's what they do. It shows us very clearly, I think, if we needed to be shown, that we cannot be a democracy in any sense. While we have over at the top of our pyramid a family that gets absolutely all the honours that are going and the wealth it demands and keeps the wealth it accumulates for no other reason, but they're there through birth. And that's what this country once had and must continue to have. I'll never forget, there was a moment when the great Vanessa Redgrave literally lay down on the floor in front of a very young Prince William then, who'd done nothing with his life. She's one of our greatest actresses. What prompted her to sink to the feet of this young man, except somewhere in her communist head, she thought he was of a higher order than she was. And this has continued. We now have the artistic community, the literary community, highly intelligent, incredibly talented people sucked into this zone of adoration. But you have to wonder, how is it that all of these guys who become sirs and dames become so sort of lose their minds over what they're allowing to happen, and how they're glorifying a completely unglorifying part of our country's identity. We do not know how much they have. We do not know, we can't know how much they bequeath after they die. It's all a secret. Prince Andrew, official papers about Prince Andrew are not to be opened till 2065. Think about that. We already had this happen to Lord Mountbatten, whose diaries were at Southampton University, so-called an academic place of free expression, free research, a space for knowledge. They would not allow researchers and book writers access to those diaries until action was taken and they were made to. And we've just had another interesting example of what happens, what these people do who have everything, and how the media, particularly the royalist media, spins it. Angela Kelly, who was about as royalist as you can get, she was the Queen's dresser, adored the Queen, and was adored actually in return by the Queen. She had a cottage given to her in the Windsor Castle gardens, which you might say why, but she did. As soon as Charles became king, he not only made her sign an NDA that she would never write anything or say anything about her life as a dresser to the Queen, but then he took the cottage back, which the Queen had promised her in perpetuity, and has bought a little cottage in Yorkshire, 150 miles away somewhere where she doesn't know anybody. And the way it was spun by I think it was the Daily Mail, the generous king is looking after this old woman who served the Queen so well. We watch this and we say nothing. All this can only be allowed to happen if people in this country have been persuaded that these people, at the point of birth, are genetically and in every other way superior to the rest of us. And they're not, actually. We know that they're not. There are many fools and blackguards among them. But yet this thing persists. I remember an extraordinary picture of a school head curtsying to Prince George when I think he was about 5 and coming into the school. She was curtsying to a child who had done nothing except be born. If you don't question that, how can you call yourself a Democrat? If you say this is a system that is worthy of this great nation, then I think you're doing down this great nation. And if you say, oh, do you want a Donald Trump then? That's just nonsense. Because what we're talking about is a head of state, not an actual president with power like the French president, the American president. We're talking about a head of state. And have we so little talent in this country that we have to put up with and defend a bunch of pretty useless people who got there simply through accident of birth?